Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I will be shooting Lomo 92 film in 35mm format, and not only I will be showing scans, I also attempted to make some darkroom prints from this film, so let's see how it goes. So Lomochrome Color 92 is 35mm film, ISO 400, daylight balanced, also produced in 120 format, but I haven't tried it yet. This film should yield blue hues, vibrant reds, and delicate pastel undertones, whatever that means. There are 36 exposure per roll, and the film comes in these reusable plastic canisters that I don't like, and they are non-DX coded. I've checked a lot of pictures on the internet where people shot this film, and results were very different. The only common thing that I have noticed by browsing all of these photos is this film looked extremely grainy. At times it looked like expired film or some color film that has been pushed quite a few stops, so I really didn't know what to expect. Anyways, I decided to shoot this film in a controlled studio environment where I could control the lights and their colors. So for the camera, a couple of months ago I've picked up this Pentax K1000 at an estate sale. In short, this camera does need some CLA, but it totally works with slower shutter speeds. And since I was shooting with strobes anyways, flash sync speed is 1/60th of a second, so I was fine. And another reason why I chosen this particular camera, I had this 50mm f2 lens, but I also had this 2x teleconverter for it, so this made this lens like a macro lens. I also was very curious to try to shoot some beauty on film, so this camera setup allowed me to focus closer and get those tighter, closer shots of my model's face. One little thing to consider when working with these teleconverters: they allow to focus closer, but they do cut some light that gets into the camera, so you have to meter accordingly. I ran a quick Google search, how much light exactly this teleconverter will cut. I came up with the result of 2 full stops. That means that my aperture of 2.8 will allow the same amount of light as aperture of f8, so I had to meter considering this. At the end, my shutter was 1/60th, aperture f2.8, and I set ISO at 200, and I purposely wanted to overexpose this film a little bit. This is my workflow in Negative Lab Pro when converting this film. I have chosen linear gamma for my gamma, and for color balance I tried daylight, but it was completely blue. It's definitely wasn't how it looked like on an actual shoot. So I have chosen auto warm and adjusted it a little bit. Now as I'm looking through these images, I definitely see a lot of grain, and this grain does not look like 400 ISO film grain. It's more of a 1600 ISO grain type of look. I totally see these blue hues and vibrant reds. And before I jump into printing, I would like to clarify something. Under my previous darkroom printing video, I got this comment. I've actually contacted Intrepid after their new firmware update. The recommended settings changed from all 50s to all 100, but I have noticed that the range of each color adjustment is different and the numbers seem so random. So I just asked them to clarify this because I wasn't sure whether it's supposed to be like that or something happened when I was updating firmware. This is a response from Intrepid. Here they explained how exactly those LED light filtration works, while those old analog enlargers and these newer LED-based enlargers produce the same results. The way they work is completely different. The way the light filtration happens is completely different. Setting all to 100 is actually making sense when working with Intrepid. Let's go into the darkroom and see how this Lomo 92 prints. I won't be showing my actual darkroom printing process in detail in here. Those type of videos are extremely hard to film, to be honest. If you would like to see how I make my darkroom prints at home, you can check this video. I'm gonna attach it somewhere here. This is my first test strip. It looks like garbage. I set all of the colors to 100. Lens aperture was f8, and I did 4 seconds increments. Actually, the darkest strip right here is 40 seconds and it's still super faint. On my next test strip, I opened the aperture to 5.6 and I made 10 seconds increments. I also adjusted the colors because right off the bat I see that is too red. So to control the red, I need to increase or subtract the yellow and magenta. For this second test strip, I did cyan 100, magenta 115 and yellow 106. This is clearly too green, but the exposure time, actually we're getting there. So my third and final test strip. Again, it was the same settings, 10 seconds increments and aperture f5.6. For the settings, I've set cyan to 100, magenta 110 and yellow 106. This one does look almost neutral. I went ahead and made a full print with these settings. Cyan 100, magenta 112 and yellow 108. 60 seconds of exposure plus 30 seconds of burning this area and this area. After 60 seconds, I basically covered the face right here and did something like this for 30 seconds when Enlarger was projecting the light. It's a little bit too magenta-ish, so I went ahead and made another print with current settings. Cyan 100, magenta 114 and yellow 108. Exactly the same settings and dodging and burning type of thing, and this is what I've got. This is a little bit too green now, so yeah. I decided to dial back on magenta. A final print looks like this. The settings were cyan 100, magenta 113 and yellow 108. exactly the same dodging and burning, 60 seconds of exposure, and then I covered the face with my hand and moved my hand so I would avoid these sharp edges when doing the burning thing. It's definitely in the cooler side. It is very grainy, especially you can see it in the shadow area. So these were my results from shooting and printing Lomo 92. Let me know in the comments if you tried this film, especially if you tried to print from this film, and what are your thoughts about it. Thanks for watching this video and see you in another one.